Welcome all to the Pro Football Radio Podcast. This is your co-host, Jay Cheema, with the pride and joy of Merrimack, New Hampshire, the Puma. And making his return for the second week in a row, Freddy, Hercules 603. How are you fellas doing today?
Doing good. Thanks for having me back on.
Doing great. And of course, we got to get, D-Gen Freddy back on here. I mean, fun times on the pod last week. And, I've been kind of realizing that Peacock had like the old school WCW, WWE wrestling promo. So if you just see me randomly doing Macho Man, Randy Savage stuff throughout the pod, like that's why. So my bad. But great weekend of football. Happy to break it all down with you guys again. And Jay Cheema is back from assignment. Glad he survived. It's great to have the captain back on the ship.
Before we start, I just want to say that the Buckeyes are going undefeated next year and we win the Super Bowl.
Okie dokie.
Let's go. Dude, come on. Let's be real. You see what we're doing in the transfer portal, right? Like, you know me. I'm the guy that will tell you when the Buckeyes are bad and when Ryan Day is not pulling his weight. I'm telling you, bro, he's pulling his weight. This offseason, he's pulling his weight.
Okay. It's still a Ryan Day problem. It don't matter until you beat Michigan.
You got your savior, Bill O'Brien, coming to help you out. So
hey, listen,
Billo the Clown. That is his appropriate name on this podcast.
Honestly, like he's not a great offensive coordinator in the NFL. He's not a great head coach in the NFL, but as a OC for a college football team, like, come on, dude. Like a former NFL head coach, that's like a steal in my opinion.
All right, we'll see.
You guys nope. Shut the hell up and get this podcast rolling. All right. Division round takeaways. We had a couple of really good games. And unfortunately, last night, Chiefs Bills ended up in a heartbreaker. I want to start there just because I have a lot to say there. But before I give you my takes, Puma, what you got on that game last night, man?
I mean, Freddy and I were sitting pretty good with Chiefs +3. But no, in reality, like it was a great game. It was an instant classic. It lived up to the billing and the hype that we all imagined it was going to be. Mahomes going on the road in Buffalo, and Josh Allen was doing body blows. And at one point in the group chat, you were saying he was playing like a man possessed. But it comes down to the Bills kind of reinventing ways or dusting off, old records to lose games. And, you had the Damar Hamlin fake punt that made no goddamn sense at all. But they got bailed out by the ball going through the back of the end zone. And then, the Josh Allen fumble that was, almost a disaster that got mitigated. And then you have like wide right part two. It's, I don't know what this franchise has done. I don't even think it's because of O.J. Simpson, but like this is the most snake-bitten franchise I've ever seen for the NFL. This is literally like the NFL version of the Chicago Cubs. Like they are the lovable losers, and they're always like the title contender because of the the talent of Josh Allen, but they haven't done anything. But it sucks to be a Bills fan. I'm sorry for the Bills fans. But I also am dabbing my tears with, money that I made off of this game.
So in your opinion, what you're saying is the football gods are punishing the Buffalo Bills because O.J. Simpson may or may not have murked somebody else. Is that what your analysis is from last night?
I mean, it's because of something. I don't know if Highmark Stadium or whatever Bill Stadium's called now, New Era Park, whatever, Ralph Wilson Field, insert name here, is on like a ancient burial ground, but like I have no idea how they keep losing these games, because after they recovered the fumble, Josh Allen like avoided that disaster, and Dalton Kincaid did a Dalton Kincaid thing and saved the day. I was like, okay, the football guys are gonna be smiling on Buffalo here. Maybe the Chiefs still cover the 3, but like I'll be happy if Josh Allen wins this because he finally got over the Mahomes hump in the playoffs. And if he can do that, they can probably win the Super Bowl at this point, because that team has been firing on all cylinders. And I mean, my God, like they just can't get out of their own way.
I like it. Yes. We blame O.J. Simpson. Nobody else. That's the takeaway I got as well. What you got, Freddie, on that game?
Because he didn't pull over right away. No, I mean, this is what I was expecting.
I mean, I feel like you're on top of Cloud 9 right now, right? Being the resident Bills hater.
Yeah. I mean, I don't like either of these teams, but I did have money on the Chiefs. So I was a Chiefs fan last night. I was pretty happy when I saw that ball go wide right. I was telling my buddy, we were watching it together. I'm just like, wouldn't this kind of be Bills, Bills 101? If this went wide right or they just missed it, and sure enough. But I thought it was a pretty good game. I mean, Josh Allen, he played well. Just not good enough to beat Patrick Mahomes.
I don't think he played well. And I'm sorry to cut you off. That's my biggest takeaway.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is another case of you see a quarterback on the other side of the field that's an elite talent. And you see Josh Allen playing well, but not good enough. And that's always been a knock on him, bro. Like he'll go out there and he'll beat up on Mac Jones and whoever else in the playoffs. But when it comes down to outdueling a real quarterback, like a real like Patrick Mahomes type of quarterback, he hasn't done it yet. And I don't think he ever will. Like he's one of those guys. And that's the biggest thing for me is that like I feel like the Chiefs are gonna go untested here, man. Like they beat up on a Miami Dolphins team that was depleted, right? Then they beat up on a Bills team that was depleted, and Josh Allen couldn't come to the rise to the occasion. I just feel like there's nobody standing in their way.
I'm gonna push back a little bit on the rise to the occasion part because he was throwing lasers and he was putting the ball where it was supposed to be, and he actually kept the ball out of harm's way for the majority of the game. Diggs and Khalil Shakir and some of those tight ends, they need to make the plays. Like a lot of people are trying to bury Josh Allen on, he had Stephon Diggs wide open underneath. Yeah, and he also had Khalil Shakir screaming down the slot in the end zone, and he put the ball right where it was supposed to be. That guy's got to make a play. Like,
okay,
was running around like a gazelle. He scored a touchdown with 70 yards. He was the majority of rushing again because James Cook had a little bit of an adventure back there. I mean, I don't know what Josh has to do.
Well, I'll say this: like before the kick went wide right, how about those 2 throws that he missed? Right, we're gonna talk about that or no? Right, because ultimately that's the thing with Josh Allen. That's what it's always gonna be. It's always gonna be good enough where you can't put the blame on him, but it's not going to be as good as Patrick Mahomes. And I'm sorry, like we put him in this category of being 1 and 2 with Patrick Mahomes. But the more I look at it, the more I realize when it really matters, he's not there. And that throw, that throw where I forget, it was a Gabe Davis play all over again from a couple of years ago where he basically short armed that guy that was wide up in the end zone before they kicked the field goal. Like, I mean, you got to make that throw. I'm sorry. Patrick Mahomes makes that throw. So that's just where I stand with Josh Allen at the moment.
So that one was short, but the one I think about is that 65-yard bomb to Diggs where he put it right where it had to go. Mm-hmm. And, Diggs misses it. And then Diggs after the plays going like, is this close? Like, no, he put it right where it had to be. That was a great throw.
Yeah.
But that was kind of the story of Diggs this season. He's, kind
of. I mean, I get the whole drop thing. And the one thing I always say about drops is, do you guys know, if I had to ask you who would lead in drops this year, it's probably the Chiefs, right? Just because they have such a bad, offensive weapons, blah, blah, right? But do you guys realize that for the past 5 years, like the elite offenses always lead the NFL in drop passes, whether it's like Patrick Mahomes or Tom Brady and his squad. That's just part of playing elite football, elite offensive football at a high level. You're gonna have a bunch of drops. It's on you as a all-time quarterback to overcome that, right? And that's the thing I always come back to is like, I mean, didn't we see Patrick Mahomes' receivers like drop left and right the whole year, right? He did, but now he's somehow in the AFC Championship game. You feel me? So you've got to overcome all that stuff.
Yeah, because MVS learned how to catch the football this time. I mean, he was making catches that like 5 weeks ago. Yeah. Good God, the football was the moon to that man.
Yeah, and they worked on it, right? So it didn't happen magically, right? Something changed, whether it was practice, whether it was more rapport, whether it was better chemistry. Something happened where Patrick Mahomes is able to extract that greatness out of him. Where's Josh on the other end, right? We can blame Stephon Diggs and call it a day. I mean, that'd be great. Yeah, let's do it. But how many more years are going to do this before we can be like, maybe it was Josh Allen the whole time as well,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, fair point. Definitely a mix there. So,
yeah, you guys got any other takeaways from the divisional round besides the Chiefs and the Bills?
Yeah, how many franchises would give their left nut to have the situation that the Green Bay Packers and the Houston Texans have? Because those guys aren't going anywhere anytime soon. And we can bury, I can bury Jordan Love for that last throw where he channeled his inner Brett Favre. But I mean, that team, with how young that Green Bay Packers core is, and especially with how, questionable per se that defense for the Green Bay Packers has been all year, pretty much like holding the San Francisco 49ers down for the majority of the game and making Brock Purdy look like a low-rent, poor man's Rex Grossman, and Kyle Shanahan doing Kyle Shanahan things where, Freddie, we were talking about last week, where it's like, yeah, they're a 10-point favorite, and Kyle Shanahan is an offensive genius, and he scares the living daylights out of me when the game is on the line and the brass tacks are there, because he's almost guaranteed to find ways to lose that game, and that almost happened. He got bailed out by Jordan Love, but I guarantee you a ton of franchises would be lining up to sign up for the Jordan Love experience. And hell, even CJ Stroud, like they laid an egg against the Baltimore Ravens. I'm not surprised. It was a road game. The home road splits are brutal as of right now, but it's his rookie year. But to consider what the Houston Texans have done to go to the divisional round, yeah, those are going to be fun teams to watch moving forward.
No, I agree. Definitely two impressive teams. I did not expect the Packers to, almost win that game. I think I texted you and I was like, I wish I kind of been on the Packers right now.
Yep.
The Niners pulled it out. As for the Texans, they never really felt like they were in that game. I mean, they had the special teams touchdown. Other than that, they couldn't score on the Ravens defense. So, that was on me with CJ putting too much faith in CJ Stroud. But up until that point, he's been great. So these franchises have a lot to look forward to.
Yeah. Must be nice. Must be nice to have a franchise quarterback, right, Freddie?
It would be nice. maybe this is the year.
This is the year. Gerard Mayo, let's go.
How mad do you think Aaron Rodgers is right now?
Why?
If you think about it, like he was essentially saying, I want out of Green Bay. I can't win with this squad.
Yeah.
And here's, Jordan Love doing what, Aaron Rodgers did, which was sit and develop. And, his first year as a full-time starter, he damn near has him to the NFC Championship game. And Aaron Rodgers is, doing ayahuasca and peddling conspiracy theories on the Pat McAfee show. What a time to be alive, Jay. What if I told you, like 6 months ago, like, hey, Jordan Love is going to go potentially to the NFC Championship game.
Yeah.
Fell flat in the divisional round. And Aaron Rodgers is going to be out 4 plays into the season and peddling tinfoil hat stuff. Like, would you believe that?
I'll never forget it because I was making my way back from the East Coast that day. Remember, I left Connecticut and I was coming back, and I was trying to rush back to watch that game. And I'm not even lying to you, I got caught up in like a few minutes with traffic. I was gonna miss the first like drive or whatever. I was like, oh, I'll be fine. First drive, it's all good. Packers. Aaron Rodgers will be totally fine. Nope, walking and the game's already over. Season's already over for the Jets, man.
Yep.
Yes.
Oh man, that's gotta suck. So I don't know. I feel like he probably is gonna internalize it and use his motivation.
Yeah, he got slighted by himself.
Exactly. All right, let's move on to the main event. The Kansas City Chiefs are rolling into Baltimore to take on the Ravens for the AFC Championship game. The line is minus 3.5, over under 44.5. Sunday 3 p.m. game. Who you got winning, Puma?
I'm going with Baltimore, man. Like I think this is going to come down to, the over under is 44.5. It's a dangerous proposition. Like I kind of lean towards the under, and here's why. Baltimore is going to run the hell out of this football, and we said it offline. I could see Lamar getting like damn near 150 rushing yards this week because he got 100 on the ground against Houston, and he found the end zone 2 times. Kansas City gave up 183 rush yards combined to Josh Allen, James Cook, Ty Johnson, and a sprinkle of old man Latavius Murray. I would really love to see how they're going to try to contain, Lamar Jackson here. And on the other side of the thing, Mahomes is great. Mahomes is Mahomesian. He's going to do Mahomesian plays, and it's going to cause Tony Romo to need a cigarette after each play call. But the fact of the matter is I still have zero faith in skill position players not named Travis Kelce. And you also have a kid out of Rutgers that runs as a man possessed, and the Baltimore Ravens can give up decent amounts of yardage on the ground. All that being said, I have a lot more faith in the Ravens defense, so I would take the Ravens. I'm not really sure if I want to lay 3 and a hook. There are some 3s floating around there. It's going to be going back and forth this week. If you can get a 3 and you like Baltimore, great. You get that push protection. If you like Kansas City, I would get the 3.5. But I personally have Baltimore winning this game, but I have not bet a side yet.
Let me guess, Freddy, you're also on the Lamar Jackson jock, huh?
How'd you know, Jay? How'd you know? No, I mean, I'm with the Ravens here. They started off a little slow last game. I think that was the rust that you boys were talking about. I think they're going to come out fired in this game. Yeah. So I'm looking at Lamar Jackson have another big rushing game. I know you don't have full faith in him, Jay, but I do think that he might even get two throwing touchdowns.
Oh wow! 2 whole thrown touchdowns. You think that'll be enough to take down Patrick Mahomes?
Yeah, maybe a Russian one too.
Well,
here's the thing, though, too, Jay.
Yeah.
Mark Andrews is probably going to be back for this game. So you got Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely, Zay Flowers, OBJ, prime time. OBJ.
Give him Jay Rice, Terrell Owens, give him Megatron in his prime. I'm sorry, I do not see a way where Lamar Jackson is going to be able to go throw for throw with Patrick Mahomes, and I feel defiant about this. And I'll say this, I truly believe in today's NFL, yeah, you can run around as a quarterback. That's totally fine, blah, blah. You can have your scrambling, right? But you've got to be a pure passer from the pocket to win a Super Bowl. You've got to be an elite passer of the football to take down Patrick Mahomes. No matter how many yards Lamar Jackson is going to run for, there will come a time in the game where it's fourth quarter and it's tight, and he has to make a 3rd and 15 throw, or 3rd and 12 throw, whatever it is, to win the game or to keep it within the game. And he's not able to do it. I'm sorry. He's just not good enough. When you take away his running ability, somehow if they get down somehow, and that's not a far cry because obviously it's not far-fetched at all because Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs can go off like that. If they get down, game's basically over. But even if they're tied, bro, I still do not have any faith whatsoever in Lamar Jackson to be able to go throw for Patrick Mahomes. That's just how I feel. Now, if I come out of this and Lamar goes for 250 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 300 yards, or whatever it is, I'm like, yeah, dude, you're right. You're spot on. But even if he runs 450 yards, I just don't see it happening, dude.
We'll see. I mean, you have faith in Mecole Hardman with his wide receiver core there?
I feel like I didn't even beat out Gibson.
It's not even that.
It's not
even that, dude. It's not even that. It's about
he has 1 or 2 guys you can trust on a day-to-day basis.
It's not even that. It's I have more faith in Patrick Mahomes than anything else. This is coming from the biggest Patrick Mahomes hair there is, but I see what's happening. I see this is the same exact thing that Tom Brady did with Julian Edelman and Chris Hogan and Danny Amendola. This is exactly what they're doing, bro. I don't understand how people can't make that parallel comparison, but it doesn't matter who you throw in front of them.
Because those people could catch the football. That's why. And this skill position group is god awful outside of anyone not named Travis Kelce. Even then, Kelce sometimes catching the ball was the moon because he was a little bit too focused on, hey, am I going to make my flight to Buenos Aires to see my girlfriend, sing about an ex-boyfriend on stage?
Yeah, and if they come out here and they just put it on the Chiefs, I'll be the first one to be in the group chat and I'll come on here the podcast and be like, I was wrong. I was completely wrong. Lamar Jackson.
I think you have to get a Lamar Jackson jersey.
No, I wouldn't do that. I dislike
Freddy's MVP ticket framed.
I'm sorry. I think the guy is a certified loser. When he quit on that team last year, I'm sorry. When Tyler Huntley almost took the Cincinnati Bengals to overtime and almost won that game, and me thinking that Lamar Jackson would be, if he was playing, would have won that game. I'm sorry. Ever since then, I just don't have faith in him. I don't. I'm sorry. I get it. He did it for his money. I totally understand that whole side of the business. I get all that because you guys can throw back at me. What if he got hurt? Blah, blah, blah. Money. Don't care. The dude quit on his fucking team. All right. And ever since then, I have little to no respect for him. So we'll see what happens this weekend. Let's see what happens.
I can see that point. He made a business decision.
Yeah, absolutely did.
It worked out for him, but we will see.
All right. You guys got anything else on this game?
I'm kind of feeling a good Zay Flowers day this weekend.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Zay Day.
Zay Day? How long have you been sitting on that one?
5 minutes. I just came up with it on my own. So
no, it's tough.
What's that, Freddy?
I was going to say it's tough to pick a receiver on that side. It's always different. I feel
right. I say that it's going to be Rashad Bateman, but if you're going to have, even if it's Mark Andrews out there as a decoy, you still have to devote somebody to him. And it's okay, we all know that he likes to throw to the tight end here. So Isaiah Likely could be in line for a day. What is L'Jarius Sneed going to do? Because is he going to be on OBJ? Is he going to be on Rashad Bateman? Because if that's the case, then I think Zay Flowers is going to eat underneath like he normally has. So I think he could be the quick outlet pass. A lot of the yards from Lamar is probably going to be yards after the catch from Zay Flowers, but I think it's going to be a big Zay day.
All right, Zay day it is. All right, fellas. NFC Championship game. The Detroit Lions, Mr. Fighting Dan Campbell's, are traveling out to San Francisco to take on the 49ers. I'll be blunt about this. I want the Lions to win it all, man. Like I am so in on Dan Campbell, man. Like that speech last week when he was going, around the room and he was thanking the GM, and then he was like, telling Jared Goff, you are good enough for Detroit. Almost broke down. I almost pulled a Puma for a second and started crying like a little baby. You know what I'm saying? Wow. Shots fired. But I am fully on the Detroit Lions bandwagon here.
Yeah, who do you got, Freddy?
I mean, I got the Niners to win, but as a fan wise, I'd like to see the Lions go. It's hard not to root for this team, but realistically wise, the Niners, I don't think they're going to cover that 7-point spread though.
That's a big number. I can't believe that. Like seriously, that's insane. I'm not the betting expert by any means, but even I'm like, how's this possible?
The only reason why it's probably that big is because, and I've been saying it for a while, say it with me, the Detroit Lions secondary is god-awful. Now, that's also assuming that Brock Purdy is not going to look like Rex Grossman for 55 minutes like he did against the Green Bay Packers, because if that's the case, Aiden Hutchinson is going to make life a living hell for Brock Purdy in the backfield. And we saw it. I'm not just going to bury Kyle Shanahan, even though I'm the resident Kyle Shanahan hater when it comes to big games. But Brock Purdy, he looked like the Iowa State quarterback. Like, there were reasons why he was Mr. Relevant. It looked like the lights were a little bit too bright for him. He was missing some guys. He was going high on some passes. And sure, I get it. The weather is going to be an issue, but when you're playing in Santa Clara, and that's right, Santa Clara people, because you don't play in San Francisco because they tore down Candlestick Park, you're in Santa Clara, closer to Palo Alto, but still in the Bay Area. There is going to be weather. You are going to have rain. You are going to have mist. It might be a monsoon. I mean, I was already looking at the weather for Sunday. It doesn't look that bad, but it's also the Bay Area. That could change. The other thing, too, is Debo going to play? Because he left that game early with the shoulder injury. People are saying it's 50-50 best case scenario right now because it's the shoulder he hurt last year, where I think he had a fracture and he missed a couple of weeks. If that's the case, like Brandon Ayuk and George Kittle are going to have to step up. Jawan Jennings is going to be getting a decent bump in targets here. It's just, can that secondary for the Detroit Lions hold up? I mean, they let Mike Evans run wild for 147 yards and got 80 receiving yards the other day. And that's with Baker Mayfield and Todd Bowles and that Canales guy. So what is Kyle Shanahan going to dial up here? Personally, I have the 49ers winning this game, but I'm with Freddy. I don't think they're covering the 7, but the Lions are alive. I'm not saying they're as live as like the Green Bay Packers were last week, but they are alive.
Yeah. Freddie, before you go, I got a question for Puma on your first take about Brock Purdy. Would you rather have seen him go spectacular for 55 minutes and crumble in the last 5 minutes, or the other way around, how it played the other night where he was crap for the first 55 and then he really showed down that last drive? Which one would you rather have?
I mean, anyone would rather have him look like dog shit and then win the last 5 minutes, but they won that game. It wasn't because of him. Like, they won in spite of that man.
Yeah.
They won in spite of him, and they won in spite of Matt LaFleur peeing down his leg a little bit and botching those timeouts, because good God, Green Bay should have won by double digits in that game.
Yeah, and I'm still like so all over the place with Brock Purdy and my assessment on him. I so want to believe in the kid. I mean, that story would be amazing. Mr. Irrelevant becomes a Super Bowl winning champion quarterback. And there are times where I see it where I'm like, all right, yeah, he's got it. Yeah, it's awesome. This past game, he didn't have Deebo Samuel, right? He was down. Weather was a little bit of an issue. Big game, big playoff game. He let him down in the last drive and won the game. And I should be giving him his flowers. But for some reason, I always got that reservation about him in the back of my mind. Like, I feel like even though he proved it to me the other night, I still got questions about him going forward.
He didn't make the throws when it counted, but I don't know. Like,
But we all feel a reservation, right? We all feel a
Right.
reservation about him somehow,
sure.
right? And if you're looking at a franchise quarterback, in my opinion, if you got that reservation, when I say Patrick Mahomes, what do you think? Boom, right? Obviously, I'm not comparing him with Patrick Mahomes, but even like, Josh Allen, we were shit on him a little bit ago. We say it, yeah, franchise quarterback. It's immediate. It's known. If you got to think about it, then I think he's not a franchise quarterback.
Yeah, it was funny to see him out there with the glove on and then not the glove, and then he takes a snap and he's wiping his hand, and it's like you got the ball and you're wiping your hand to throw. It's like I don't know that to me, the mechanics of him doing that caused me to pause and think like, is he gonna throw a pick right here? He's wiping his hand a lot.
Yeah. You know what it looked like? Like this looked like the Browns.
Freddy breaking it down to the T, huh?
Someone's got to do it, Jay.
I mean, it was they were zooming in on it. I mean, it wasn't. But they were trying to play it off like it was cool.
Over here.
Yeah.
Freddy's like, too high. Shoulders a little too high. Bring it in. Tuck it in.
But you have like Tirico and Shanahan trying to, or Tirico and Collinsworth rather, like trying to play it off like it's some Mahomesian no-look throw, and it's like, no, dude, you're in a playoff game. And throwing the ball has been a little bit of an adventure right now, and you're trying to dab your hand with a friggin' towel. Like, this was, and I said it a minute ago, this was like the Browns game where it was like monsoon and all that nonsense, but like they were on the other side of the coin. They luck boxed their way and they won that game. It's lights were a little bit too bright. That weather, I don't know, man. I can't. And if you think about it in a way too, like Kyle Shanahan really luck boxed his way out of potentially being in a really bad quarterback spot because of the Trey Lance fiasco and Jimmy G walking out that door. Like they kind of luck boxed their way into Brock Purdy being good enough to run this system because good God Almighty, if this was anybody else, yikes.
He's training for Mac Jones next year.
I mean, plug and play. I mean, Sam Darnold looked okay in that start week 18 against the Rams. So
that's why you're wrong, Puma. Mac Jones is not plug and play. After 3 years, you still don't get it, huh? You still don't get it, Puma. After 3 years, it's no, dude. He'd be so much worse than Brock Purdy. But again, I digress because I don't need a 30-minute rant about Mac Jones. That's in the past. We leave that in the past, Puma. All right, no more. If I have to never think about Mac Jones again for the rest of my life, I'd be a happy man. All right, that's my goal. Go away, bum. Go sell insurance.
You're still showing up to the team functions, so
I saw that. You see Gerard Mayo doing a drive-by shooting on him with one of his answers.
Yeah.
Wow.
He basically looked at him and was like, "We gotta get in the weight room and we can't go outside the building." Basically calling him soft and doughy and a snitch.
Nice.
Let's go, Mayo. That's when Mayo won me over. When Mayo said that and he made that joke about the name that Robert Kraft couldn't pronounce for it, I was like, yep, I'm on board. Let's go. Team Mayo. Give me extra Mayo.
Nice.
Real quick, just to get back to the playoffs for a minute. Like let's play a fun game of guess the line. So let's say it's Baltimore, the chalk. It's Baltimore versus San Francisco in the Super Bowl. What would you make that line?
Being the moron of sports betting, I feel like you guys have a better gauge on this. I will say it'd be a 3-point. It'd be a 2.5. How about that? In favor of the 49ers.
Okay, 2.5. What do you think, Freddie?
So you're saying they would be getting 2.5? You're saying the Ravens would be favored?
49ers would be favored.
49ers would be favored. Mm-hmm. It's just tough. It might be just a pick 'em, honestly. I kind of lean towards the Niners being favored as well. Probably right. Kind of agreeing with Jay here, -2.
Would it be? Would there be? This is a big question. Could it be less than 1 point, or it has to be 1 point minimum?
So anything less than 1 is a pick 'em. So it's essentially like you're just doing a money line bet at that point. If I had to make that line, it would probably be. I think like a lot of books are thinking this too for some reason. But personally, like I would make it a pick 'em, but I think in reality it would probably be San Francisco -4.
-4.
I think on a neutral. I mean, what was it? It was it was around 6, right, when they played on Sunday Night Football and when Baltimore blew the doors off. I think some books, for some reason, would still have San Francisco favored on a neutral, but by like 4 points instead. So they would downgrade them by 2.
So what's the thought process there? And explain this to me, because I'm a moron when it comes to this kind of stuff. San Fran gets blown up by the Ravens, right? Now they're playing again. So now how are the 49ers favored without Deebo Samuel?
That's the thing. So it's also assuming that Deebo's full go. I mean, if you look at the line here, they're 7-point favorites right now against Detroit. And the only reason why, and that's what I'm assuming, is the Deebo injuries baked into the line, which then gets interesting of, well, if Deebo was full go and there was no injury,
10 points? I mean,
is this line going to be around 8? Because that's insane. That's
ridiculous.
But yeah, on a neutral, I think it's coming down to the offensive scheme of Kyle Shanahan. Like you said on the top about Lamar in the big game, even though he's going to be what everyone is assuming an MVP winner here. And it's in Vegas, probably a travel spot too. So that's the only reason why. And the defensive side of the football. I think, yes, Baltimore is more elite, but they have given up issues on the run game. And you have Christian McCaffrey in the backfield that can just take anything to the house at any given moment. So I think that's why it would be 4.
So if, let's say, the sports books are looking at this game, 49ers and the Ravens, and they cannot pick somebody, what would they do in that situation? Would they still like force themselves to like give you some sort of like spread just so they can make more money on it? Because I feel like
they'll move the line in a way to get action on both sides, because they don't want just the line sitting out there and one team getting all the action type of deal. So that's why you'll see like 7.5. Like if the Lions game for some reason gets ticked up to 7.5, the sharps are going to pile on Detroit getting 7 and a hook. So I would probably die a shock if I see this line go up to 7.5, 8, because it's not going to last. But if it does go to 7.5, I am jumping on that in a cocaine heartbeat, because I'd rather have the 7.5 than be on the other side hoping San Francisco wins by 8.
Okay. I'm calling Sunday morning because I've got like $40 to burn on FanDuel that I need to like blow through in the next 2 weeks. All right.
There you go. Actually, the best value was betting early in the week, Jay.
All right,
now, let's play another guess the line game. So let's say it's Chiefs, Detroit Lions. What do you make that line?
Oh, I'll let Freddy
on a neutral.
Well, I load the FanDuel app.
Chiefs and Lions. I would say Chiefs -3.
Yeah, I'd buy that too. I go probably 3.5.
Yeah, I feel like the Lions would still be the dogs there. If the Lions make it to the dogs either way. You know what I mean?
No, I don't want to give you feedback. They're like, "Are you enjoying FanDuel?" No, bro. I lost so much money.
Jade, are you gonna drive somewhere to place your bets, or can you place them?
No, it's the state of Ohio, dude. We can do whatever we want, bro. They're about to put like kiosks in our grocery stores, bro. Like we can like go bet at the
Kroger Sportsbook. Oh my God! Imagine if they had
Kroger's,
that.
Kroger's like the
shopping so much more fun.
I don't know if you heard of Kroger, Freddy, but it's like a massive like grocery store in the Midwest, right? It's like equivalent of Stop and Shop, but on steroids. And like now you can just like go into one of these things and play your sports bets. How crazy is that?
And then you gotta wait to see if it pays out, if you can get groceries or not.
Exactly.
Yeah, facts.
Right.
Facts.
I mean, I'm not lying to you. Ohio is such a how do I put this? Ohio is such a state where they would do whatever it takes to turn a profit. So I would not be shocked if I see like sports gambling machines and like gas stations down the road as well. Like it'll be everywhere, you know?
All right. One more guess the line game. We get a rematch of Kansas City Chiefs, San Francisco 49ers. Freddie, what would you make that line on a neutral field?
Ooh, tough. That's tough. I'd probably say -2.5 to the Niners. Kind of the I don't know. I just don't see the Chiefs getting it done this year. I'm kind of surprised they made it this far. I know I bet on them last week against the Bills, but just looking at them throughout the season, I just don't think I don't think they have the team to do it right now.
Well, like I'm trying my best to articulate this point, but like, who do you see stopping them? Legitimately, who do you see stopping them?
The Chiefs.
Who?
The Ravens.
Lamar Jackson. Jackson, the pride and joy of the University of Louisville, Heisman Trophy winner, 2-time MVP winner, about to rush for 200 yards, 3 touchdowns, and throw for 2. One of them going to Zay Flowers. He's about to punch his ticket.
Listen, like
the Super Bowl.
When you get to these level of like elite quarterbacks and it's their era and everything, like you've got to have Peyton Manning on the other side to win a few Super Bowls to take it away from you. You've got to have Big Ben won 2 with the Steelers and took away from Tom Brady, right? I honestly do not see anybody that can go toe to toe with Patrick Mahomes, and I hate to say that, I really do, because I hate the guy. But in reality, like if you're not on this podcast and you guys aren't in your corners with Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens, I know deep down you guys are probably like, God, who's gonna stop this guy? Like, who's gonna stop him? Seriously. Who's gonna stop him? Nobody. Nobody's gonna stop him. That's well, Taylor Swift might stop him. That's about it. Wow. Speaking of which, I'm just like, I'm so over just like everything with the Chiefs, and now like even Jason Kelsey, like, dude, what are you doing, bro? Like you know how annoying that was. You know how annoying that is, bro. Like, come on, man. Like,
he's supporting his brother. You wouldn't do the same?
No, I wouldn't do it like that. Jumping out of the freaking suite into the stands like you're some sort of hooligan. What's wrong with you?
He's a drunk fan.
You can go support your brother, not being a moron. You know, it's just I just feel like
everything that
family does is
at
like
the victory, the Super Bowl victory parade. He was like dressed like a genie, screaming like it was a WWE promo. That's like relatively tame. Him topless, drinking beer, and doing shots out of a bowling ball.
I thought it was a welcome sight versus just feeding over to Taylor Swift up there. He was standing right in front of her. I thought it was funny.
Yeah. For the boys.
Enough.
Yeah, I mean, I hope to God Lamar Jackson wins, but I can't do this anymore. I'm irrationally mad this morning. I'm texting Puma. I'm like, bro, why am I so mad about this? You know, like I gotta turn it off.
No, it's way too much. It's way too much.
I might have to like stop watching the NFL because like I'm so annoyed with.
Okay. All right, Dad. We're gonna stop watching. You'll be missed. Well,
I'm not saying that. It's just
Let me say that on Park Avenue. Oh, no, Cheema's not watching no more.
No, who cares about me? It's for my own mental sanity, bro. Like I just like this morning, I cannot tell you how mad I was. Like, and I shouldn't be this mad over something I don't care about. Well, I guess I care about it quite a bit. That's why I'm mad. But I shouldn't be going around pissed off the whole day because the Chiefs won the last night. Like thinking the worst of Tyler Bass, you know?
Oh man,
it's fine.
I feel bad for that guy.
I don't.
But
it's your job to make the field goal, bro. It's a chip shot field goal. What are we doing here?
But you can have that Disney movie where like you have Brock Purdy and Damar Hamlin starring in a.
We gotta get to this before you get out of here. Sean McDermott's gonna be fired, right? Like,
no.
I mean, that play call was egregious. Like with Damar Hamlin, 4th and 5 on your
side of me.
On your side of the field, bro, like the dude was dead just like 18 months ago. What are you doing, bro? Like, come on. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, even Brandon Staley wouldn't have the balls to go for it on his side of the field against Patrick Mahomes in a playoff game to go to the AFC Championship game. Even Brandon Staley wouldn't do that, bro.
They thought it was a movie. They thought this was the script. This was the heart string, pull on the heartstrings.
Yep.
They were a little they were looking at the documentary being made.
If I'm Terry Pagula, I bring him in to the office this morning. I show him the video of Damar Hamlin collapsing on the field and ask him, why did you think this man would be able to get you 5 yards when you have Patrick Mahomes on the other side? Like, what are you doing, bro? You're fired. Like that whole thing, you know?
He's not getting fired. That's the fucking thing.
Still image of Damar Hamlin on the ground. This is the man he chose.
The messed up thing is like I feel like in the eyes of the Pagulas, I think because of that turnaround after that overtime loss, actually not even the overtime loss, the loss of the Broncos, because then they fired Ken Dorsey and they made the offensive change to Joe Brady. I think they'll run that back next year. I think you're going to see another bit of leash on Sean McDermott and Joe Brady. Now, if by week 6 of next year it starts turning into a pumpkin again, Sean McDermott would probably be the first head coach fired. Like for me, going into next season, like coaches on the lukewarm seat, like first is gonna be Sean McDermott, and number 2, is going to be Mike McDaniel. And obviously, like on the hot seat is going to be Nick Sirianni, but it's Nick Sirianni, McDermott, and then McDaniel.
I just didn't realize that Terry Pagula hated America so much, because if he's going to keep a head coach that sympathizes with Al-Qaeda, then I don't know what to think about the Bills. I really don't, okay? I don't understand how you as an American, Terry Pagula, this country has given you so much, all right? You're a billionaire, and you're going to have that guy as your head coach? I don't know, man.
Wow.
I don't know. Seems suspect. Seems sus.
Yeah, that speech. I didn't want to bring it up last week, but since you brought it up,
I'm saying it.
What is that about?
I'm saying that Terry Pagula, sus. Suspect. Has this podcast
so much that can be said.
No words.
Like I want to go down that road with Freddy in the speech, but like
oh my God. What's gonna happen? Our 37 listeners aren't gonna tune in this week.
Yeah, we're gonna get canceled.
Yeah, like what?
Well, they went on a 7-game run after that.
Exactly.
They did. They rallied around the coach using Al-Qaeda as an example to pull their weight as a team.
Yep.
In the year of our Lord 2024.
Un-American.
Let that marinate.
He's sus. Suspect. All right. Let's get out of here, man. Before we're on some sort of NSA watch list.
Yeah, don't get me in trouble.
My God.
Especially with my middle name, dude. Like, oh, dude, I'm already on that list. You know that, right?
we don't need Freddy getting suspended off of social media again.
Right.
No.
Well, before we plug it up, Freddy, where can the good people of the PFR universe find you on socials and Twitch and all that?
Right there, Hercules 603 on Twitch and Picket. So if you want to follow me there, copy my bets. Been doing pretty well lately, I have to say. Had a good weekend, so all my bets are public. So if you want to give me a follow, see what I'm betting every day. Thanks for the plug.
Hell yes. And this episode of the pod and previous episodes of the Pro Football Radio Podcast can be found on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. YouTube, hit that little subscribe button, hit that little bell, you get that notification when we are about to go live. Social media, Facebook, Instagram, Pro Football Radio Podcast, X or Twitter or whatever, at PFR Podcast. I'm on Twitter at Brando_Puma. J Cheema, the captain of the ship on the ones and the twos, is at J Cheema. And Freddy, I'm actually going to do it right this time. Freddy Soliotis, you're fired! All right,
see you guys next week. Bye-bye.